Hey everyone, today I will talk about Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius, and then I'm going to talk about Pluto in Aquarius through the houses, okay? So let's have a fun discussion, right? And see what it means when Pluto is moving into the sign of Aquarius. And this will happen on the 24th of March 2023 until the 11th of June 2023. So this is only a short time period. Then it moves back into Capricorn, and then on the 21st of January 2024 it will move back into Aquarius, and it will kind of go like this until 2025 when Pluto is going to stay in the sign of Aquarius. So I think it's a really exciting subject because I'm super intrigued by the planet of Pluto. This is because I have Pluto on the ascendant, right? And Pluto is a planet that can do many things, right? It is about power. It is about revealing the underworld. It is about hidden truths, but also about transformation and, the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is how I see it. So coming out a different person. So because I have Pluto on the ascendant, I've made a video about it. I got many clients who have this, and I've seen what it does in people's personal lives, but I also see what it does when there are transits with Pluto. So I think it's super interesting to see. So it's like there are the most enlightened teachers have a very prominent Pluto, what I've seen. And then there's the worst criminals who also have Pluto, a very strong Pluto placement. So what Pluto does is it gives you the power of extreme perception. It gives you a lot of power. You will see when someone has prominent Pluto, you will see them enter the room. There's a big aura. But what happens is that this awareness can create huge manipulators. So you can either use it to become a detective and work for the police, for example, but you can also use it for really bad stuff, right? So it's very intriguing to me, and it also creates a lot of chaos because the darkness has to come to the light. So what happens is it's a hard teacher. It teaches you things about the world that are not so pretty, right? And when we look at Aquarius, we see a sign that's progressive, wants to move forward. It's very future oriented. So it wants to look at the future. It's very focused on technology, media, rebellion, right? It's about people being completely themselves, feeling like we are all equal in our own right. So we are a collective, and this is really the sign that's going to create a lot of flat structures that we already kind of saw happening during COVID times when Saturn was moving into the sign of Aquarius, and it's air, the air we breathe, right? So that's why it's been kind of related to diseases, environmental health, right? Because air is also related to the environment, the air we breathe. So we're going to see a lot of environmental issues coming up that we're going to work on as a collective. When we look at Pluto in Aquarius, we're going to see that the dark side of Aquarius is coming out as well. So there will be a lot of technology that can also work against us, right? So this is like a lot of AI, a lot of tech stuff, right? Like chips or all these kind of things that are incredible inventions, incredible. It's like people will have the power to invent such amazing things, but also this could mean that a lot of people will lose their jobs. A lot of people will, they will not have this yeah, they will not have the opportunities as there were before, because there is a lot of automation, a lot of new tech. So we're gonna see technology rising. I'm not surprised if we're gonna have like flying cars. Really, it's gonna be a very technology-based society, and I don't want you to get scared of it, because Pluto is telling you you can do great things with this as well. Like, for example, you can convey messages to help humanity, right? You can quickly spread a message all over the world to help people, right? Gather finances to help a certain cause. This is all possible through the internet, right? And we saw already that during COVID times, you saw more flat structures happening, people working from home. So there was less micromanaging and more independence for people. More, let's do this together, right? We see people freelance. It's, you know, Aquarius is ruled, Uranus rules Aquarius. It wants to break free. It wants to have space. It wants to, yeah, it wants to be independent without restrictions, right? So very often when we see someone with Uranus on the ascendant or Aquarius ascendant, we see someone that wants to express themselves freely. This is who I am, and I'm gonna have pink hair just because that's me. And I don't care what other people think about it. And this is the beauty of Aquarius. Doesn't care so much what other people think, because they think it's pretty, and that's why they're gonna do it. So people have this more sense of freedom. Like, I want to be quirky me, and no matter what other people think, I'm just gonna be like, you know, like this. And I think it's very interesting to see that in 2008, for example, we had Pluto moving into the sign of Capricorn, and we're rounding up this last degrees in Capricorn anyways now. But Capricorn has to do with authority. So immediately there was a financial crisis. So this was pointing out some things that weren't working, right? Because this was about authority. So some things had to change in order to create a better situation, right? And this will round itself up. We saw a lot of corruption, right? So companies, which is also authority, had to, and we saw changes in governments, right? Monarchs, things were changing. People felt like speaking up about certain situations, things, there was like a huge opening up about certain scandals that had to come out. And Pluto makes this inevitable. Pluto is like, it has to come out. The truth has to come out. So it's very aware, right? And it also gives people the power to speak up. So in a way, sometimes you have to lose something in order to gain something. This is with Pluto, right? So yeah, now we're rounding up the whole situation about Capricorn, and we're going into, like I said, I think a more flat structure. And on a personal level, this is really about expression of the self. I do think we're going to be more and more attached to everything online. I mean, we've been working towards that already for a while. And I mean, can you imagine before you would do homework through writing, like paper and writing, and now you cannot not have a phone or a laptop. So, right, we saw already the rise of AI tools. We see that people are trying to invent robots and chips. So I kind of see Pluto in Aquarius like this nutty professor that invents something that can also go against them. So in a way, we're going to see really brilliant stuff happening, but we're also going to see that maybe it's not going to be as positive for everybody, because maybe there will be less jobs, right? Because a lot of optimization or a lot of technology is going to take over certain jobs, people jobs, right? And when we look back at, for example, history, in 1977, Pluto went into the sign of Aquarius, and we saw a lot of revolutions taking place, because Aquarius is like, I want to break free. I want to be free of expression. So yeah, they're gonna be like a huge opening up of, how do you say it, possibilities. So what do we see? We saw a lot of fights against authority, but we also saw around that time there was a lot of independence, like treaties being signed for independence, or people standing up against authority, right? Because it was the last few degrees of Capricorn. It was like, this is the last this is the last thing I'm gonna take. I'm gonna fight against it. Okay, so it's gonna be very interesting, and Pluto will be in the sign of Aquarius until 2043, 44, and then it will shift. Like now, Aquarius Capricorn is gonna shift with Aquarius Pisces, right? And that's gonna be very interesting as well. That's gonna be we're gonna have to work on super duper karma, because it's 12th house, and 12th house is really about cleaning up the last pieces of karma. So that's gonna be a very, very spiritual time. But we're already working up to that. You will see more and more people interested in more independent spirituality, right? I hear like police, or I think it's firemen. So I will wait till it's passed. Oh wow, okay. So this is good way to introduce Pluto and what it means. Also, what is very interesting is that when Pluto goes into the sign of Aquarius, we're gonna see that there will be a square with the nodes. So first there will be a square with the nodes between Aquarius and Taurus, and then it's gonna be Taurus and Aries. I think I wrote down until when. I'm not so sure if I wrote it down. Must be like 22 March and 16 November. Okay, there will be a square with the nodes. So wherever Taurus is or Aries is in your chart, you're gonna see like some power struggles, because the square is a tension. So on a collective level, you will see that there will be some tension, that people want to take back their power, right? So you will see some maybe rebellions happening in the world, because people don't really accept everything as it is. There will be a huge discernment, and you're gonna need discernment, because there's gonna be so much technology that you don't know what in the media is real and what's not real. But already right now we have so many possibilities of sharing your own information worldwide, right? So let's start, I guess, with all the houses. I'm a little bit like brain frozen today. I don't know why. Well, probably because the day I'm filming it is a full moon. So, but I hope my message comes across, and I know like Pluto is a little bit of a tricky planet, but I feel like you should not be scared of it. You should see it as an opportunity to heal and to transform. Also, if you have this in your natal chart, right? And before I go to the houses, I also want to tell you that, right, if Pluto is on a natal planet, expect massive transformation in that part of your life, okay? You're gonna have this massive transformation there. But like I said, don't shy away from it. Write down the lessons that you've been through, because these are massive. Pluto will get out all the dirt, so you can transform and you can really have a better life when it comes to those planets, right? Yeah. Okay, first house, Pluto transiting in the first house. And before I go to the first house in general, I know that some of you are gonna have Pluto over the ascendant, which is gonna be massive, okay? Some people have first degree Aquarius or last few degree Capricorn, so you will have to deal with Pluto transiting your ascendant, okay? And this is literally a massive new beginning in your life. You will have a huge opportunity to change where you stand in life. So you were this before, and you will change into that. You will see that you have this urge, and this is not only ascendant, by the way, this is also if your sun sign is in last degree Capricorn, and beginning degrees of up to 5, right? Plus minus in Aquarius. And you will see that you want to change things. And the thing is, if you don't change it, Pluto will change it for you. Because I don't want you to get scared. But Pluto really wants you to find inner strength in yourself and be very flexible. So whatever life presents to you, know that it is for the best. So Pluto rules the 8th house of Scorpio, which means cycles, right? And I can really tell you from personal experience with Pluto having on the ascendant, you will go through many cycles, but you will grow and become so much stronger. And what Pluto does is it wants you to release a lot of darkness and karma, not only from the family line, because it's also the ancestral line, right? From the ascendant, goes back to way before. But it also wants you to really have a look at yourself, right? And then we go to the whole first house. So Pluto in Aquarius in the first house. It's like, what parts are you hiding about your identity? Like, are you truly being your quirky self? Could you express yourself in a different way through your identity? Are you truly being you? So you will see people break free of certain, it's like first they worked in this situation, and then they're gonna be in a completely different job. So you will see this massive transformations on looks. Like maybe someone had long hair, they will have short hair all the way around. You will change your looks, maybe change the way you see the world. You want to be more progressive, but also Pluto dims down because it gives you power, it gives you awareness, and it tells you how are you going to use it. So it will really reward you when you're becoming strong and humble. If you're going to dominate, you'll have a lot of conflicts. So Pluto there will say, okay, if you're going to dominate, we're going to create a lot of problems. So we give you this inner power, this really way of having this super duper awareness of looking through the crowd. But also, are you going to use that to dominate and manipulate, or are you going to use that for the good? Are you going to help people transform themselves? Are you going to read the person and make sure they become the best version of themselves? So this darkness within yourself has to go. And this is why people sometimes say like, you have Pluto on the ascendant, you don't look that way. It's because people have to go through so many hardships. And I've spoken to many therapists and people that are super humbled. You will be humbled. Pluto will humble you. It will make you go through so much stuff that you're literally just gonna surrender and say, you know what? You tell me what to do. So, okay, it's about being resilient and knowing that strength is within you, and strength is different than being dominant, okay? That's for first house. Let's go to second house, which is all about your finances. It's all about materialism. So it's gonna teach you a few lessons there. It's like, it could give you a lot of money, and then it is like, how are you gonna deal with this? Are you gonna use it for the good, or are you gonna use it for the bad, right? So it can also take away your money. And then it says, how are you gonna deal with that, right? You have to find the inner strength to regain yourself and find new ways to make money, because maybe what you were doing before was not the right thing for you yet, right? So Pluto gives you this regenerative, how do you say it? Can regenerate your energies and find the power within to take this next step, okay? So you will see that there will be changes in your income. Maybe you're going to be without a job for a while and then you earn a lot. So there will be some instability that makes you realize the best ways of making money. Figuring it out. Okay, I could do this, I could do that. You're going to become more creative as well, okay? And we're looking at the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius is online. It's the internet. So it could be that the money is in making a website of your business, for example. Maybe you didn't have that before, or more. You're going to be more on social media. If you're in science, or you become a scientist, you know, everything Uranus related. It could be multiple sources of income, right? And I have to think about Bob Proctor. He always said have multiple sources of income. This is also very Aquarian style, right? Like having a platform, have different sources of income, for example, online, doing it different, right? Earning different income. And in my own situation, I have Uranus in the second house. So I'm earning money through weird ways. I'm an astrologer, and also I work with websites. So I have a few of my own websites, and I've had times in my life where I lost all my money, and then suddenly I had this luck coming in, this lightning, what Uranus does, and it gives you suddenly money. It's there, and then it's gone, and then it's there. So, right, it's about finding creative ways of making money, okay? It's also about your self-value. So if you're not asking enough or asking too much, this will be balanced, okay? The corruption things will come to the surface. If you are setting up people, you will be revealed. So Pluto is your heart, how do you say it, lie detector, and it will figure you out. So it gives you chances to come clean, to transform, but if not, it will give you, boom, will cut you off. Okay, so second house. Now we're going to third house, Aquarius. So if you have Aquarius on the cusp, especially, you're gonna have, you know, a really smart, tech-savvy mind. You're gonna be really quick. You're gonna be almost ahead of your time, right? And even if you still have Aquarius in the third house, because maybe it's not on the cusp, it will transform the way you speak. You're gonna be a more powerful speaker. You're gonna find the strength to really speak up in certain situations, different ways of communicating. This is also related to research and studying. So you will see that you will dive into a subject and unwilling and unable to let it go. You want to dive into, you know, it's like a criminal case where you want to know who did it, and you will not stop looking until you know who did it. This is the same thing. It's like, especially if you are in an analytical type of job, you're gonna want to analyze. I mean, it could actually, it could be for anything. If you're into spirituality, you want to know everything about it. You want to think out of the box, like Aquarius does. So you will see, you will study maybe new subjects, or you will study more into your subject. You're going to be very knowledgeable. It's also, the other thing is that don't dominate too much the conversations. You see, throat chakra is already clearing up. So it's also about transport. So you might want to buy a new car, new way of transportation that is a little bit different from what you had before, right? Make sure that you check your transport well. And also it's related to siblings. So, you know, it could be a little bit of a difficult relationship with siblings. and one of the two might be dominating each other, or there might be a little bit of conflict, and the highest form of Pluto is saying how can you resolve this and how can you work best with it. Okay, so that's third house. Let's move to the fourth house. If Pluto is moving on your IC, you're gonna be up for huge transformation regarding your living situation, regarding your family. There might be a massive change, right? I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be for the better or worse. It's always for the better, because no matter what happens, it is always to teach you something, right? And Pluto wants you to dive into things that you weren't comfortable with before, right? It's everything uncomfortable. So if there's something about your family that you've been hiding, you're gonna have to face it. So this is a good time to go into therapy, couples therapy, family therapy, to really see what is going on here. And, you know, even if Pluto is in the fourth house in general, you might be buying new property. Make sure that you're not being scammed or set up, okay? Read everything well. Make sure the person you're dealing with is who they say they are. Aquarius in the fourth house gives a little bit of a different living situation as well, right? This could be like you're in a kind of a community. You're in Aquarius is also very city-like. It's could be in the city, a co-living kind of situation, something different, something out of the norm. You know, you could be having a super technological house built, you know. Yeah, restructures done to the house. So check that if you buy a house that it doesn't have like leaks or something that you didn't see before. So do a really good checkup. Also with the family, all the dirt will come up. It will show you what needs to be healed, and also what needs to be healed within you, because we do carry the DNA of our family, and there are certain things that will come up, maybe secrets that will be exposed. And fourth house is especially related to the mother, right? Or the caregiver, your caregiver. So there might be some issues with that person as well, some power struggles, okay? But you can learn and grow and transform and become a better person. And this is what Pluto wants you to be. It wants you to also be aware that, you know, there is a polarization in life. And for me, every time when I let go my Pluto on the ascendant and I become a little naive, I go to my other planets, which are completely... I get people try to dominate me, and Pluto is waking me up. Hello, boundaries. Yes, boundaries. Don't let people walk all over you. That not everybody has good intentions, and I had to wake up to that reality, right? And this is what Pluto does. It's like not everybody is on the same level as you are, or maybe you are not there yet, you know? And we have to really take time to get to know people, to understand better what are we dealing with, you know? And to be fair, this has been a little bit of a struggle for me, thinking everybody has good intentions, which not always the case, because people are in different journeys in their lives. And not because they're a bad person, it's just because at that point in time, maybe they're not going through the best period, right? So we have to see it from different perspectives in order to grow and to have our inner power and better inner strength. So the fourth house, roots, having stronger roots, okay? Fourth house, let's go to the fifth house, right? So fifth house is ruled by Leo. Obviously, it's going to be in Aquarius, but we're going to have to deal with kids here. So make sure that, you know, whatever it is that your kids are going to bring up, that you listen with an open mind. Whatever is bothering them, that you help them get through it. Some of your kids might rebel, and it might be really difficult for you on how to deal with that. So it's about being open, seeing, you know, maybe they're completely different from who you are. and you're a little bit like, is that my kid? They're so different. But try to understand them and like really get to know them for who they are, because Aquarius 5th house can create kids that are a little bit quirky, which I think is wonderful, right? But maybe there will be some struggles with that. So make sure to listen to your kids with an open heart and an open mind, okay, around this time. If not, if you're trying to dominate them and say like, you should be like this, you should be like that, Pluto is going to teach you hard lessons, okay? Then we have romance. So 5th house is also about romance. So you will come across power struggles in romantic relationships or people you are dating, right? So make sure to get to know someone really well. And you will also you will see the two sides. So you will be dominant yourself, trying to pull someone to you, afraid that the other person is going to leave you. And the other way around, it could be that someone is doing that to you. This gives you perspective on how to deal with displacement, okay? This is also about your inner creativity. So there might be a huge urge of creating something, having new hobbies. Maybe you want to learn a new skill in your spare time that you're going to use for maybe your job, or maybe just to know, maybe just something fun you want to do. But there will be a massive transformation in your creative expression and how you want to spend your spare time. Maybe you want to learn how to build sites, you want to learn photography, and sometimes you have to fall in order to regain yourself and keep going, okay? So that's 5th house. Let's move to the 6th house. So Aquarius in the 6th house, right? It's ruled by Virgo, and this is all about service. It's about your day-to-day routines. And honestly, Aquarius is allergic to day-to-day routines. It's ruled by Uranus. So Pluto there in the 6th house is going to bring up some issues regarding your routines, regarding your eating patterns, regarding your food. What can you change? And I know a lot of, Virgo ascendant have this, and Virgos are usually quite healthy. But, it depends for each person, it's different. So I do want you to understand that it's going to bring up some issues in your body, if there's any. If there's none, if you've been taking care of yourself, there's no problem, But, if you feel something, go to the doctor and do a checkup, okay? Very important. We have beautiful doctors, and especially Aquarius can, they can help you with your health. So your diet, your health, your routines. Are you waking up? Extreme time differences like that has been preventing you from being fully healthy. Do you need to try a new diet? So what are you doing to change your day-to-day habits? It's also about your job. So you could be changing jobs completely, right? You could be working at the police and then you're gonna work in a bakery. You're gonna change your job completely, right? You're gonna find out what is more suiting for you. So some of you might, for example, get fired, be completely like, what should I do? And then suddenly you're going to be in a new job. This is what Pluto does. It's like these hidden feelings that you've been hiding are just going to come out. They're going to be manifested in reality, and you will be brought to a new phase in your life. So I see it as something beautiful, okay? So do not be discouraged and be completely open to see what it is that you can change. So like I said, new diets, maybe less drinks, or you're gonna work on just a healthier lifestyle, working out more, stuff like this. Then again, if you already do that, Pluto will not cause you that many issues. So that's that. 6th house, and it's also related to pets, okay? So you might Also check the health of your pets, very important, or you might get a new pet, or you get suddenly a pet from someone that you have to take care of and this person is just gonna go. These are things that can happen as well in the 6th house. So yeah, Pluto in the 6th house in Aquarius. Let's go to Pluto in the 7th house in Aquarius. So Pluto has to do with Libra, right? Relationships, one-on-one relationships, and how we are relating to people. Many people who have Aquarius in the 7th house are more interested in unconventional relationships. This could be open relationship. This could be dating someone who comes from a completely different world, different culture, a different age. You know, there's an age gap, for example. Just different than the norm. Or you just like someone with quirks, someone who's very intellectual, very intelligent, like very scientific kind of personality. And when Pluto is there, it's going to make you question what it is you're actually attracted to. So if you desire this, A, but you actually want B, and you keep sticking to A, Pluto will make sure that this will be revealed to you. Okay, so this might be a break of a relationship or meeting someone new that's suiting to you. Pluto also creates third parties in some cases, and this is already showing you the truth of what was already there. Okay, don't get scared, please, because Pluto in its highest form is bringing you together with someone that's very good for you. But as long as there's no power struggles, because if you deal with power struggles, dominating each other, it's gonna be a tough time. So it's really about having really good boundaries. And if you're single, get to know the person first really well. Don't dive into marriage too quickly, okay? Because if you dive in too quick, you will figure out later their true personality, okay? Because Pluto, in my opinion, is a planet that does attract a lot of narcissists. Because it's about power. And what do narcissists want the most in life? Power. Okay? And this is not about what is right or what is wrong, because they had their own childhood abuse. But it's about you protecting yourself. So make sure you get to know the person really well before you go into a relationship. Yeah. So that's, and also it's business relationships, right? So if I would not recommend you to go into a business relationship when Pluto is transiting your 7th house. And if you are, make sure that you are on the same level and you see each other eye to eye. Very important, very important, okay? That's it for 7th house. Let's go to the 8th house. So Pluto in the 8th house is bringing transformation over transformation. So this is about you transforming in life. Whatever, I always see 8th house as a peeling onion. There is a core where you need to reach the core, and this core is hidden and all the layers need to come off. This is 8th house. So in general, this could be related to your sexuality or your finances, your joint finances, right? It could be that you get suddenly a lot of money, and then you will see that people want to use you suddenly because you have money. So it's also being careful how much you speak about it, and also not abuse it. If you have it, do not abuse this money to attract people to you, right? Because Pluto is humbling you down. It's like, be strong from the inside, but do not try to, if you show it on the outside, you will attract and manifest people that are attracted to this power as well, and they want to take. So this is a great time for therapy, a great time to do energy healings, tarot readings, astrology, or dive into these subjects, or even make it your job. You're gonna want to learn all about it. And if you're into the financial industry, investment, you're gonna dive into these subjects and you're gonna be like, I want to be the best in this. I'm gonna be super good. And are the positive traits of Pluto. It's going to make you dive so deep that you're going to be like an expert in this subject. Yeah. So don't be afraid of 8th house, right? It can cause a court case or a divorce or something like this. So Pluto is asking you to stick with your inner power, your inner knowing, your inner discernment, and you will be okay. But when you are coming from a point of deceit, it will come back to you at some point, okay? So I always say, with Pluto you can misuse, but you can also use it for the best. And you can come out a completely different person, very spiritually aware. You dove into your family situation, maybe maybe a traumatic event you've been through. You can heal that around this time with Pluto in the 8th house. And we also have it in the sign of Aquarius, and this is also about like sexually having new experiences. Okay, this is about opening up about those things. But also, I mean, it's really, you're probably going to be interested in astrology, because Aquarius is kind of the sign related to astrology. So that's 8th house. Let's go now to 9th house. 8th house, I just wanted to say, maybe like pensions and papers, tax papers. Very, very important to have those correct. Okay, those correct. So let's go to 9th house. Pluto in the 9th house in Aquarius. Watch out. First thing coming to mind, watch out for cult leaders. We are going into a time where we will see a split between good and bad. And people see money in spiritual jobs, right? And they ask ridiculous amounts of money to help people. And obviously it's an energy exchange and it's normal to ask for money. But if you have to pay 500 euros or $500 for example, a reading, that's insane. That's insane. Then you have to think, is this the real deal or not? So some people are literally going on a retreat and you're going to be misinformed. So make sure that when you do a reading, that the person keeps the power with you, right? And do not tell you what to do. Because if people start telling you what to do, you are with someone that likes to be in power and likes to put you down. You need to be lifted up. A real teacher is lifting you up and saying, okay, you go now. You're ready. You can work on yourself. You're strong enough to do that. It's also the house of philosophy, academics. So there will be a lot of studying. You could excel in your studies. It will be very hard, right? Pluto is not going to make it easy, but these are years where you can reach your PhD. Like, you will have the power and strength to go through all of that. Okay. It's also about traveling. So you might have good and bad experiences traveling. So we will have mixed experiences. That's going to create a new view of the world, a cultural view. If you, for example, go to a foreign country where there's a lot of poverty. So this is an eye-opening experience, but this is also a very Pluto experience. It's showing you the things that are not comfortable seeing, but it's going to help you understand the world and humbling you down and understand, like, I'm so grateful for the life I've had. And honestly, beginning 20s, I was backpacking, and I remember that it was a very eye-opening experience, and I was in places with no electricity and like just a tiny bit of water, and I remember jumping in the shower trying to wash my hair in the dark, and I wear contacts, so I was without contacts. I couldn't see anything, spiders everywhere. And I remember after a few months of being away, coming back home and thinking, wow, I'm so grateful for the shower I have in my home. I cannot express it in words, how amazing it felt to be in a shower. So these worldly views are gonna give you more experience. This could also mean you're gonna study a certain language or anything related to philosophy, spirituality. Just do not try to dominate other people with your views. Because you recently discovered something new does not mean that other people are interested in that yet. Okay? So it's about preaching and teaching too much, which is something that happens when you just turn into the spiritual world and you have your first supernatural experiences. And I have experience with that as well. You know, you want to tell everyone, but you know, Pluto's gonna tell you, you're gonna attract so many people that are not interested, because Pluto is saying you do it for you. This is for you only, okay? Or you start a platform where you're gonna share it, where people are gonna be interested. Yeah. So yeah, and especially with Aquarius in the 9th house, you're probably gonna maybe even want to study in a different place or go to like cities. I'm always getting like the city of Kuala Lumpur, like cities like that with like huge buildings where you can sit on top of a building. This kind of, you know, energies gonna interest you. So Pluto in the 10th house, or, you know, I want to start with the midheaven because this also is very prominent. This also has an effect on your family life, right? Because it's in opposition, but you will have a massive change in your career. You could have a fall from grace, or you could reach the top of, you know, the top of the top. And then Pluto is saying, how are you going to deal with this power? Are you going to use it for good, or are you going to use it for bad? So this is what Pluto does. You get the power. And now what? Now what? Could also be a complete transformation. If you are not in the place where you're supposed to be, you will be cut off and you will be brought to a new path. You know, this is something that was already hidden below the surface. It's not something new. It's something you always feel coming. Like a lot of people say, I kind of felt it coming, but I was afraid of it, you know? Like a gut feeling. So yeah, Pluto in the 10th house can do that. It can transform the way you see work. Like you will, maybe at one point you wanted to be like a career tiger, wanted to be on top of everything. And at another point you're going to be like, actually, I'm going to be just happy doing this. And with Aquarius in the 10th house, you know, we're dealing with people that are either dealing with the internet, technology, scientists, but also teachers. These are people that want to work independently. They need a lot of freedom, right? We're talking about freelancers. So if you were probably in a job where you were caged, you're going to want to break free. You're going to step up and you're going to speak up and you're going to be like, this is not suiting. So you will break free from an old paradigm that's not suiting for you anymore. And if you're not working, this could be in general your public image, the way people see you is going to change. You're going to have different image on the outside. Okay, this could be also true. Marriage can give you a certain status as well. This could also be just, you know, by activities you're doing. It's about any public dispute. So that's for the 10th house. Then we go to the 11th house. This is obviously its own house of Aquarius. So here it's quite comfortable, but you will see a big shift in friendships. There will be some jealousy of you to friends or friends to you. You will have a transformation of friends. So friends that needed to go are gonna go. Friends that needed to stay will stay. There will be some dominance, right? Maybe some arguments or something like this. And if you're working with a collective, right? Again, we're gonna have to deal a little bit with keep the power to the people. So maybe it could also be that you're working for a humanitarian organization and you don't stop working. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. And when you see it's not working, you're just gonna keep going to help people and take too much onto you. So you might be starting up this NGO and then you start like 20 NGOs, but it's actually too much for you. And Pluto makes you keep going, but you also have to take a step back and see, you know, what's going on here. Yeah, having fun is going to be different for you now. So Uranus or Aquarius and Uranus are very carefree, but suddenly you maybe feel like I have this obligation to help people, to go for things. And people might also walk away from you because it's like a little bit of an intensity going on. You know, I'm not saying Pluto is a nice planet. Like, I know people want to hear good things, but I sometimes feel like it's going to be also good to know what to expect. Because on the highest point, you can be a very influential person. You can really influence the masses and the collective with your strength, your courage, and you can really improve and bring forward new technology, bring forward new products, new innovative skills. So that's with Pluto in the 11th house. Then we go, if you have Pluto in the 12th house, house of Pisces, you're going to be forced to transform spiritually. There's going to be a lot of projection, subconscious, like for you, it would be great to do like subconscious healings, like family constellations, energy healings, reprogramming of your soul, because 12th house also has to do with past lives. So some of you will do past life regression. You will see that you want to spend more time alone, self-reflect, read, okay? But there's also a little bit of sense of paranoia because you attract people that maybe want to like take, and this has to do with your past life, okay? So you will attract people that represent a part of you that was in a past life. So this is an important time to heal, to meditate, so you can break down a lot of karma. So have the right diets. Maybe you can start with yoga. But also with Aquarius in the 12th house, you're going to have a restless mind. For some of you, it's a restless mind. You could want to write something. You could learn how to channel spirit, channel information. Some of you are literally going to write a book or a poetry from information that comes from the other side. So you will see there will be sudden insights, sudden ideas that are going to come to you that you can use for day-to-day life. This is to support the collective, right? Because Aquarius 12th house wants to do something for the collective and wants to sacrifice a part of themselves to be there for others. This is really what 12th house does. It's about, you know, it's the last piece of the cake before the first house, which is more about identity. The 12th house is really about selflessness. It's about the highest spiritual form of being. And no matter what that means for you, right? Like voluntary work. It's about healing and understanding that life has ups and downs. And it's about, breaking down a lot of cycles and karma, and also being okay spending some time alone, right? This is a good time to go into a retreat. And if you have a family, right, you might be just having a room where you can meditate and you can come to your senses and come to yourself, because you're going to be very aware. And some of you are actually going to get some type of spiritual awakening around this time. Very vivid dreams. Some of you might start working in a hospital, like I said, voluntary work, or do something for the collective that will help and that takes away time from your life. Okay, so this is my interpretation of Pluto in Aquarius. I hope you like this video. Leave a comment below how this resonates with your life. And this video you can watch between now and 20 years. So by that time I'm gonna be an old lady. So just leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel, and wish you a lovely, lovely day. Bye bye.